They tried to steal my $10 million property because I bought it for 25 cents, thinking I'd be too stupid to fight back. Yeah, that happened. I'm Marcus Kane, a divorced plumber, and I legally bought an abandoned lakefront cabin at a tax auction for 25 cents. Fast forward a year after restoring this Colorado mountain hideaway with my own hands. This HOA queen, Delilah Thornfield, shows up in her designer boots and luxury SUV, waving legal papers like she's claiming new territory. She tells me the property now belongs to the HOA. $10 million in value from my $250 investment, and she thought she could just take it. What would you do if someone tried to steal what you legally own? Drop a comment. Tell me where you're watching from. I want to see how far this story travels. Let me back up. 6 months earlier, I was 52, living in a cramped Denver apartment surrounded by microwave dinners and broken dreams, fresh divorce in tow. Ex-wife Jennifer took half my tools, half my savings, and, apparently, half my will to live. At least she left me the pickup, smelling like pipe joint compound and rust. I'd been hitting weekend tax auctions, hunting for flip properties. Most people think these auctions are boring, but the desperation in those courthouse rooms? Electric. Nervous investors shifting on squeaky wooden benches, auctioneers rattling off lot numbers like carnival barkers. The air tastes metallic with anxiety. My carpenter dad taught me to see potential where others saw problems. That Tuesday morning, scanning the list, one entry jumped out. Whispering Pines Cabin, 15 acres of lakefront. Minimum bid $25. The photo looked apocalyptic. Rotting roof, shattered windows, but lakefront in Colorado? Liquid gold. 2 hours later, I'm winding up Highway 285, gravel crunching under worn tires, when Lake Serenity comes into view. The cabin sits on pristine shoreline, Rocky Mountain peaks reflecting in crystal water. The logs were from the 60s, foundation solid. Sure, it needed everything: electrical, plumbing, a miracle, but the bones were straight. I'm measuring the foundation when a spotless white Escalade glides up, engine purring like a pampered cat. Out steps Delilah Thornfield, all designer hiking boots and perfectly coiffed hair, clutching a clipboard like Moses with tablets. "Excuse me," she announces in that voice reserved for PDA presidents and mall security. "I'm Delilah Thornfield, president of the Whispering Pines HOA." She points at my tax deed. "Cute, sweetie, but tax sales don't supersede our covenants. This structure violates 17 community standards. Demolition required." I explain the cabin predates the HOA by 40 years and should be grandfathered. Legal basics, really. She tilted her head, that rich women patronizing smile, lecturing me on why a tradesman probably couldn't grasp property law. Then came the predatory edge. "Mr. Kane, you don't understand how things work here. People like you usually find it easier to walk away. You have 72 hours to reconsider." Her Escalade disappears, leaving me gripping my $250 receipt. Mountains echo a hawk's cry. The air smells of pine and sawdust. Bullies only understand one language. My dad always said, "Standing your ground." I had no idea she'd marshal lawyers, connections, and a decade's experience crushing people like me. Week 1 of Operation Cabin Restoration was a masterclass in petty tyranny. Monday, I hauled debris when her compliance officer, her soft-bodied nephew Bryce Thornfield, shows up. "You parked incorrectly," he announces, scribbling citations for my truck in my own driveway. Tuesday, $500 for unauthorized construction noise. Wednesday, $500 for improper waste storage. Thursday, landscaping violations. Death by 1,000 paper cuts, meant to bleed me dry. Here's the thing plumbers think around problems. I hit the county records office and found the HOA was 8 years old. My cabin was built in 1962. Pre-existing non-conforming use. Legally, they had zero authority. Monday, I hired paralegal Zoe Jamie. She poured over documentation. Every one of Delilah's citations was toilet paper. We filed a motion challenging their jurisdiction. I also launched Cabin Restoration Chronicles on social media. Time-lapse videos of debris removal, classic rock blasting, decades of decay melting away. Comments exploded. Local hardware guy Pete Rodriguez offered discounts. Neighbors secretly encouraged me. A note under my truck? "She's done this before." Kellerman's, Maple Ridge Road. Check it out. The pattern was surgical, harassment to force a property sale. Delilah's husband owned Thornfield Construction, snapping up distressed properties. By week 2, my videos went viral. DIY enthusiasts, electricians, and journalists rallied. The county building inspector slapped a work stop order on my cabin, claiming permits were missing. Turns out, conflicts of interest. Inspector golfed with Delilah. Zoe flagged it. We filed complaints. Harold Whitmore, retired judge, examined every citation. Embarrassing errors, patterns of fraud. Sarah Martinez, local reporter, turned our documentation into an investigative series exposing Delilah's tactics. Social media donations poured in $25,000 in a week funding legal battles. I stood on my porch at golden hour, pine sap mingling with sawdust, knowing every citation meant I was doing something right. Delilah was watching, growing angrier by the day. She escalated. Fraud allegations, sheriff visits, character assassination, flyers around town, fake online reviews. My reputation, 20 years of plumbing under siege. But Harold uncovered a bombshell. The HOA wasn't even legally incorporated. Every citation, every fine worthless. County records confirmed my cabin was never included in the HOA boundaries. Delilah knew all along. Her harassment was pure greed. I discovered hidden deeds and mineral rights in the basement. Lithium, copper, gold tech industry treasures beneath my property. My $250,000 investment just became potentially $10 million richer, plus sustainable extraction funding a public conservation park. 90% of the land would remain protected, ecotourism generating revenue, community benefit over personal greed. Harold, Rebecca Torres, environmental lawyer extraordinaire, and Miguel Santos organized volunteer crews. Local tradespeople rallied. Social media exploded. RICO lawsuits filed, criminal referrals submitted, FBI agent Rebecca Foster monitoring. Delilah tried sabotage, vandalized equipment, fake protests, threats. Bryce caught on camera amateur hour burglary. Media exposure backfired spectacularly. Finally, arrests. Delilah and Bryce in cuffs, federal marshals, national media capturing the spectacle. I presented evidence to the community, citations, fines, mineral rights, financial fraud. Standing ovation. Local economy rebounding. Whispering Pines Park became a model for sustainable development. The 25-cent cabin, now a symbol of persistence, legal savvy, and community triumph. Months later, the park opened, visitors learning about property rights, environmental conservation, and civic activism. Social media following over 1 million. Inspiration spreading nationwide. Sarah Martinez moved in. We planned a lakeside wedding at the visitor center. Delilah got federal prison, Bryce probation. Families compensated. Phantom HOA dissolved. The cabin became a living lesson. David can beat Goliath when grit meets strategy. Most evenings, I sit on the dock, watching sunsets paint the mountains, breathing air that tastes of pine and possibility. Community dinners, kids laughing, neighbors sharing stories. Justice was served, but the fight also created something bigger than revenge: a thriving, educated, empowered community. Now it's your turn. Drop a comment with your worst HOA nightmare. Share your thoughts on standing up to bullies, and debate what's right and wrong in the world of property, authority, and courage. Sometimes the best revenge is building something beautiful from the ashes of someone else's greed.